And we are back on the airways,
We
folks.
are live.
We are live, and this is episode 255, Deval.
Ooh, 255 because we're staying alive, staying alive.
I love it.
Unlike some people in the horror films we're going to talk about.
Who aren't staying alive.
Yeah, exactly.
So listen, we've got a kind of a bit of a horror bumper episode. So we're going to be speaking about The Nun Part 2. That's been on the radar for a while. And then, there's another movie called Cobweb, which is kind of, related. So there's that. And then Deval is going to be speaking about a hidden gem, which is not in the English language. So stick around for that one. That is going to be really interesting.
Internationale.
Exactly. You know how we roll in the Flixters. We
Yeah.
love bringing you, hidden gems, international flavors. I mean, look at us. I mean, we got, brown and black. I
Exactly.
mean, come on, man.
We cover
Yeah.
every corner of the globe.
Exactly. So listen, look, we're going to get onto the show. Before we get into the main stuff, Deval, do the
Yeah, the shout outs. Got a couple of shout outs this week. So what the first shout out goes to Sandra.
Yes.
Sandra Azoka. Hope I'm saying your name correctly. But yeah, Sandra, do you know what? Sandra is a new Flixter. When I say new, relatively new, a few weeks or months ago, she discovered us. And do you know what? Thank you for coming onto the Flixters, into the Flixters world. Do you know what? I love the way you interact with us. You really you talk about stuff that you like. So far, he's talking about Star Wars, Ahsoka, the character development. We're talking about Ahsoka, Sabine, and it feels like sometimes what you get on the animation, what you get on the live action sometimes is different. But you're explaining things to me that I didn't really think of before. You're explaining to me the journey of these characters, sometimes why this happens. And it's good that we have Flixters like yourself.
Different perspectives. I love
different
that.
perspectives. It's not everything we say isn't fact. It's our opinion, and we love to have different opinions. So yeah, keep talking to us. We're going to get you on the show soon. You cannot avoid us.
Cannot avoid us, Sandra.
Sandra.
And listen, and another also, she's not only with the kind of Ashoka and Star Wars and stuff, but big horror fan as well. And we met up. We were chatting earlier on today, and we were talking about kind of the Conjuring universe. So a big fan of all that sort of stuff. So Sandra, if you're listening to this episode, stick with us. We're going to be bringing you our take on The Nun. But yeah, Deval. So who else? Who else we shouting out?
Oh, Ciel Noir 3. Go check out her page on Instagram. You saw her. She was on the show a few weeks or months ago. Very big Flixstar, loves movies and all about it. And like I said to you, go and check out her page on Instagram. I guarantee you, when you come off that page, you will feel better than before you went. Lovely person, and just a ray of sunshine. So we'll you know what, she'll come on the show again at some point. I don't know 100%. What film we'll do or what show we'll do, but she'll come on again and we'll have some fun.
I can't remember. Did Ciel say whether or not she liked horror movies?
Do you know what? I can't remember. Somebody, you know what? I'm just thinking someone like her, just a ray of sunshine she is. I doubt she'd want to have any horror
in
her space. But if she did, she'd probably turn that horror into a comedy. She'll somehow the film will just change and go from being horror to just all nice,
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, listen, look, folks, those are your shout outs. Let's get to the main show. We've got some movie news, some new stuff kind of coming through. So Alien, we haven't really spoken about Alien in a while, and obviously it's this classic sci-fi movie from the 80s. We know Ridley Scott, we know James Cameron. We've known about, obviously, the reboots, the remakes, and all that sort of stuff going on. But yeah, tell us about this, Deval. So this is Alien Romulus. And where does this fit in with the whole Alien franchise?
Good question. Where does it fit in? It does and it doesn't. This Alien movie is said to be something a bit separate, a bit of a standalone compared to the other Alien movies, Prometheus and all the rest of it. Bit, so almost think of it a little bit like how we had Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. Bit of a more, moderate, chilled out budget, smaller budget basically. Lesser known actors, but really good in their own respect. A director who has good pedigree. His name is Fede Alvarez,
Mm,
and he's from Uruguay, I believe.
yeah,
Uruguay, Montevideo.
yeah. And we've
Uh,
seen Fede Alvarez. We've seen something of his before, haven't we?
yes, Don't Breathe, Evil Dead
There you go.
2013. He did
Yeah,
Don't Breathe 1 and Don't Breathe 2. So he knows his horror. He knows his way around
yeah.
frights. But this is going to have a bit of a fresh cast, all all quite young and all quite
Mm,
maybe relatively unknown, but
yeah.
good in their own right, like I said. But yeah, this one's going to be released in August 2024, I believe. Principal photography has wrapped, so
Okay.
now they're going to maybe do some reshoots perhaps, or they're going to do the special effects and all the stuff that comes
Mm,
afterwards. And yeah, by the latest, I believe it might come out earlier, but by the latest August 2024 we'll see it
wow.
on screens. Yeah.
Yeah. And what about Ridley Scott? He's not behind this then, or he's producing it or whatever.
He's involved, he's
He's
got his
involved
fingers.
somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his as a producer, but he's not going to be behind the camera. But obviously,
Mm,
I'm sure, have his influence and his paw prints in the film.
yeah. Okay. Talking about Paul Prince, actually, that moves us nicely onto this next piece of news. Pet Cemetery. Now, remember,
Mm,
Deval, when they came up with this, it was a reboot, remake or whatever. They wanted to kind of kickstart that whole franchise again. So we had Pet
yeah,
Cemetery in 2019, which was really decent,
yeah,
and I don't think it did well. I mean, commercially, I think it did really, really well because obviously it made money for Paramount.
yeah.
Critically, I'm not too sure. But check this out, it doesn't really matter because if it makes money, then obviously, movie houses, they're going to kind of get on top of it. So there's going to be a prequel, Pet Cemetery Bloodlines. And check this out.
Mm.
It's coming out in October the 6th on Paramount Plus. So just basically around the corner.
Oh,
Give it about another
soon. Okay.
less than a month. So we'll watch that, Deval, you and I. But also, they've given it a rating of R. Now, Deval, remind
Mm.
everyone again, when you get R rated, what does
Mm.
that usually mean? Because you know what, to get an R rated nowadays, it's got to be pretty full on, right?
Yeah, it means it's good, blood and guts and horror.
Yeah.
Uh, Rated R. I think in the UK that translates to age
18.
15. I
Oh, is
think.
it 15 now? Oh
I think rated
gosh.
R is 15. Yeah, because then you get it's an 18 if it's severe, like
Hmm.
gore and stuff like that. But also if there's any sort of sexual violence and stuff
Yeah.
like that, then it automatically goes to an 18 usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one it should be
It
decent.
should be
Then it's not
decent.
going to be
So
light-hearted.
yeah, exactly. So Bloodlines is a direct prequel to the film, to obviously Pet Cemetery, telling the story of a young Judd Crandall. So the Creed's friendly neighbor. So remember the next door neighbor?
No, I was going to lie and say yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
I
So
don't.
so it's when the neighbor when he first discovers the pet cemetery. So this is going to be when
Is the
when he
original you're talking about or the 2019?
the 2019. So
2019.
this is a
Okay,
prequel. This is going to be a prequel to that one.
to that one. Okay.
Yeah. So the guy who kind of
Oh yes, I do actually. I think I do remember now. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I do remember. Yeah.
so it's his story about when he
Mm,
first encounters the pet cemetery. So I can only imagine there's going to be all
okay.
weird shit going on, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so it stars Jackson White, Henry Thomas, Pam Grier, and
Pam
David
Grier.
Duchovny.
Mulder. Okay.
Mulder's in it.
Mulder.
Yeah.
Ah.
So, which I thought was quite interesting. So, we'll look, give it about a month's time, and we will be on to that, and we'll let you know how that kind of turns out. Now, I want to speak about this Ava
Mm,
DuVernay. Now, Ava DuVernay obviously has made some powerful movies.
yeah.
Um, she's made documentaries, and she was for a time where we were going to get to see God's no, New World or New Gods or something
The New
for
Gods, DC, like
DC, right?
Outside and the Furies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was going to be part of that whole kind of DC universe, and they wanted
Yeah.
to bring on a fresh face, a person who brings different perspectives and things like
Mm.
that. Well, that never worked out, but that didn't stop Ava DuVernay because she went on and she produced. Remember White Tiger? We watched this on Netflix.
Oh
That
yeah,
film
yeah,
set
yeah.
in India,
That was
and it
good.
was
Yeah,
called
that was
White
good.
Tiger.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
Ava DuVernay, her kind of film company was behind that. But check this out. One of her movies is being
Mm.
kind of creating a storm. It's called Origin, and
Mm.
it's having its world premiere at the Venice Film Festival. or it had it just a couple of days ago, not too long ago, and it's going to be coming out in cinema. So that made history because Ava DuVernay was the first African American female director to premiere a movie at the Venice Film Festival. So it's 80-year history.
Okay.
She was the first African American, but she wrote, produced, and directed the biopic, which is inspired by it's based on someone called Isabel Wilkinson, and it's basically this kind of biopic of this woman about how she deals with kind of race and how she deals with love. And it's got a massive cast in here. John Bernthal, Vera Farmiga, who's kind of connected to this Conjuring universe. Nick Offerman, Blair Underwood, Finn Wittrock. Whole bunch of stars. But I mean, I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, so 8-year history of the Venice Film Festival. This is the first time there's been a person of color doing
a lady.
A lady. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, strange, isn't it? I'm surprised it's taken that long, but I guess this is the world in which we live, so maybe I shouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it's good. You're good on her.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that film, but I guess definitely watch it when it comes out.
Yeah, definitely. I think so as well. I think it's probably a movie that we've got to watch. But listen, look, we're going to finish up with movie news with this one. So Deval, we're kind of fans of Stranger Things, and a lot of people around the world are fans of Stranger Things. Yep. We kind of had season 4, which was only like about 3 episodes. I want to say they were only about 3 episodes.
It was short,
about hour and a half long movie, basically. So one of the actors in there, Finn Wolfhard, he is this is how basically fast things go in, obviously, in Hollywood land, in La La Land. So he's co-written, co-directed, co-created and co-starring in a slasher movie which is going to be coming out which has kind of had its premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival just kind of like recently. But I just thought it was really interesting, the fact that this kid Deval, we saw him in Stranger Things as a kind of 11, 12-year-old, and now he's directing his own movies. I mean, what's going on?
Good. I guess he's much more than just
the face.
A kid that we see in acting. Also, he was in It as well.
He was.
He may have been in It, but I wonder how old he is in real life now. He's probably might be in his early 20s now. Maybe time flies when they're on screen. They really just grow up quick, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's good on him. Yeah, I mean that's good.
I just thought it was just like mad.
Easy.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's kind of like a a lot of stuff that's going on. Obviously, Toronto International Film Festival, and they usually kind of, when movies hit big over there, they kind of start to gain kind of Oscar buzz as well. So when they start kind of standing ovation over there, and then people start kind of paying attention, and then it moves on to this film festival, that film festival. So we'll see what happens with all the stuff, and we'll keep you posted. But yeah, I just wanted to put it out.
21. He's going to be 21 in December. 21. So he's it's going to be it's going to be 21. He's 20 at the moment. No, hold on. 2023. Yeah, he's going to be 21. Wow.
Yeah. So he's already carving out this kind of career for himself as this, and slasher kind of movie kind of makes sense because he's in that kind of Stranger Things mold.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't want to kind of do anything kind of different. But yeah, it's called Hell of a Summer. It's a slasher movie, and it follows camp counselors who are being stalked by a masked killer. So kind of think Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Exactly.
Jason Voorhees and.
Yeah.
Remember Kill Street? No, was it Fear Street? Remember that one?
Fear Street, yes. That's 3 movies, isn't it?
It's got that kind of vibe to it as well. So when it comes out, we'll have a watch of it and we'll see what happens. All right, let's do new on streaming. So I know Deval and you've been watching this, and I just have not been able to fit this in. Now, is that saying something?
Well, I'll tell you who's saying something. Sandra's saying something.
Yes, we know.
And we had a message into Instagram. I'll just read through maybe a couple of comments, but basically we were talking about how some of the characters are not the same in Ashoka, the animation compared to the live action, and Sandra was saying something similar happens with Ashoka, but only Ashoka, the character, she thinks is similar, just a bit of a difference, but she feels that Sabine and Hera are the same as in Rebels in the animation. And this is something that I so far haven't had the connection with. Some of the characters I feel are a bit, I don't know, the difference that I'm maybe I'm expecting too much,
Yeah.
but the characters, the way they're exhibiting themselves on the screen, uh, maybe my expectations are so much that it's maybe not allowing me to enjoy it as much. And I just need
Right.
to relax maybe and
Yeah.
enjoy the ride, But so far, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think there's more to come. There's 4 episodes. I think that's is it four?
So
Four
this was
episodes.
this was the fourth episode that just came
I
out on
think so.
Wednesday.
Yeah, fourth episode. I think there's only six. I can't remember.
Okay, so a couple
But
more. Yeah.
yeah, so far, yeah, you're seeing. We all know what Shoka's capable of. We're seeing Sabine kind of trying to learn her, Jedi skills again.
Yeah.
I forgot she was doing that Jedi training, and she's a
Yeah.
Mandalorian. So it's really interesting seeing a Mandalorian with a lightsaber and
Yeah.
all that sort of thing. So
Because
yeah,
they're
it's
supposed
getting.
to be they're supposed to be enemies, aren't they?
No,
Mandalorians
no.
and
Oh,
Jedi.
sorry. Yeah. I don't know if enemies is the right word, but
Okay.
there's a bit of a friction in the relationship.
Mm.
Mandalorians are very, very proud and a bit like think of Wolverine sort of character,
Mm.
or what's his name from Chronicles of Riddick. The
Yeah.
uh
Vin Diesel Furies.
yeah, the Furians, yeah, the
Yeah.
Furians. Like those sorts of characters don't really make friends easy, do they? But
No.
they don't always mean
The
bad.
lone
But yeah,
wolves.
so exactly, they're lone wolves. But I think with this Ahsoka series, I want to see when the Blueface guy, what's his name, Grand Admiral
Admiral
Thrawn,
Thrawn.
when
Yep.
he gets introduced into it, because he's the big bad. He's the guy that he doesn't ramp in the sort of comics and so on. He is worse than what we've probably seen on
Seen. Yeah.
animation. Yeah, so he's a big
And what
guy.
about Ray Stevens' character?
Yeah, so far he's been quite mild. So I mean, he's had a few interactions, but he seems like a good
He's
character,
a
a good
Jedi. He's a
villain.
Jedi, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's a Jedi. He's a Jedi of his word. Or sorry, he
Mm.
was a Jedi, but he has Jedi. He has the
He's
Force.
Force.
He's of
Okay.
his word. Because something happens in this episode where he has the chance to kill one of the one of the goodies, one of the rebels,
Yeah.
and he doesn't because he says something to them. He gives them his word, and he sticks to it. So I kind of respect him for that. He, yeah, I respect him for that. So yeah, he's an interesting character, but I'm not sure how much more we're going to see of him, knowing that Grand Admiral Thrawn
It's
is the
coming.
person that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm still looking forward to seeing what happens with this one. Let's see
Okay.
what happens next.
All right, we'll catch up with that one then. All right, okay, let's move on. Now, this is been getting a lot of obviously news. So Top Boy began, was it Channel 4 that it began
Yes,
on in the
yes,
UK?
yeah,
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 so this
yeah.
was a show that began in the UK and it was cancelled after about a couple of seasons. And then from the most unlikeliest of
Mm,
places, it had a huge fan in Drake. So
yes.
singer, artist Drake. He watched it. I don't know how he watched it. Maybe he was over in the UK or something, or someone might have mentioned it to him.
In Canada,
Canada,
yeah,
they were
yeah,
showing it. Maybe
yeah.
BBC over there or whatever.
The
Sorry,
link,
Channel
isn't
4.
it? It's the UK link with Canada and
Yeah,
England, I think.
yeah.
Yeah,
So he watched it, and then he was a big champion of the show, and he was like, "Hang on a second, this thing can't be
mm,
cancelled." So he has a part to play in it being on Netflix, right?
big part. Yeah, so he helped with with not promoting, with pitching
Mm,
the show to Netflix to get it back on the screens after 7 or 8 years that it had not been,
wow.
had been cancelled. So yeah, this started up again. I've seen all of it.
Mm.
This is the last chapter. So after this, there's no more Top
There's no
Boy.
more Top
So
Boy.
this is the
Oh
last of it.
shit!
Yeah. So
So
it's on
no
Netflix
like
now.
spin-offs or anything like
Mm,
that.
I don't know about that. There's space
Okay.
for that. Whether it
Yeah.
happens or not, I don't know. But I must say, in this last chapter, everything happens.
Yeah.
They make it a last chapter.
Really.
So that's all I'm going to say. It's only five. No, is it
5 episodes.
5 or 6 episodes? It's really short. I think it's
Yeah.
5 or 6, one of them. But yeah, it's a lot
Could they
happens,
listen,
man.
Devout? This might sound silly, but could there be a Top Girl show?
Yes, there could, because in this there are girls or
Mm.
women that are
In that world
in that world, and they are just as
as ruthless.
powerful. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, in their own different ways, perhaps. But yeah, they're there, so they could be.
Could
But
be.
yeah, let's see what happens if
Let's see
anything
what
does
happens with that
happen.
one.
Yeah,
Go check it out. Listen, if you haven't seen Top Boy, it's
good.
honest.
It's good. It's
Obviously,
good.
yeah. There's stuff in there where you might think, oh, but this is kind of like UK. This is based in the UK, but the themes are universal.
Yeah.
And if someone like Drake, can kind of relate to that stuff, more than likely there might be things in there which we all might be able to relate in this. So go check it out. That's Ashoka and Top Boy. Now let's do trailers. We've got some, mate. Some of these trailers are mad. Some crazy ones here, but let's speak about this one first. This is the Book of Clarence, and man, I've got to just say one thing. I didn't even know this thing was out. This was coming, but I mean, you put it up on there, and I had to type it in. I started watching it. This looks great. Directed by James Samuel. Now, James Samuel, he was the director of The Harder They Fall, which is this Western movie that came out on Netflix, which I really, really liked.
Yeah.
Had Idris Elba, Lakeith Stanfield. They had kind of, what's her name? She won the Oscar. Regina. Oh, man.
Regina Hall.
Yeah,
Is it
man. She's
Regina Hall?
great. Yeah, Regina King, I think.
Regina King, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
So this one, James Samuel, he's back. Lakeith Stanfield's back, and it kind of reminded me, it's a comedy. It's kind of like biblical because it's set in the biblical times. It's set in the times of Jesus Christ, which when you think about it, Devout, it's just like, the way that kind of this director, the way he's looking at things is just kind of really deep. It's like, okay, let's go back. Let's go back to biblical times and let's try and tell a story, and let's try and kind of link this to kind of one of the greatest stories ever told, the story of obviously Jesus. And let's try and kind of fit in. Let's put a message in there as well. So Lakeith Stanfield, he plays Clarence, and he wants to be the second Messiah. And there's loads of shit going on in this movie, man. What did you make of it?
It's mad, and I've heard of this sort of thing being spoken about in the past. Was I guess the premise is that that Jesus, all the miracles and stuff like that, and in that time, like turning water to wine and doing certain things, like it's mad. It's a miracle, and the Keith Stanfield's character sees this, and he wants some of that. He wants some of that, some of that awe. So he goes around trying to mimic.
And that's a very modern thing as well. You might see something like on TikTok or like social media, like,
YouTube,
I want to be like that. Exactly.
And he goes around mimicking these, or trying to mimic these miracles, but doing them in a way that obviously he's a trick. And then, he gets deeper and deeper into it. Where in the trailer you'll see it becomes interesting. But this is a film that I'm definitely going to watch. I don't know if it's going to be on YouTube or if it's going to be on. Sorry, not YouTube. I don't know if it's going to be on Netflix or cinema or where. But either way, this is.
I've got to watch this.
Yeah,
it's got to be. And there's a bit
out
in there where
year.
We don't see. I think it's maybe we don't see this in the trailer, but Jesus is black. He's black, isn't he? In this,
I couldn't see. I looked at that. I thought, you know what? They're gonna make Jesus black, or at least they're gonna make him look darker or brown or something. They're not gonna make him blonde and blue-eyed kind of thing, But
exactly.
I didn't get a clear look, so I wasn't sure. But I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it'd be interesting just to see. But that was
man of color.
Funny. Yeah, exactly. Funny kind of definitely kind of messages in there. So go check that one out. That's called The Book of Clarence. Now this other one, oh my gosh, bringing it back to the UK. This is Deval. When you sent this to me, you were like, check this out. I was just like, what in the tarnations is this? This is some motherhood. And this is some motherhood. And like, we've had movies like Kidulthood, we've had like,
adulthood
and stuff like that.
Top Boy. We spoke about Top Boy just a few seconds ago, and this is the comedy version of Top Boy. The most comedy version of Top Boy. It's mad.
It's mad. And I watched it and I was just like, I gotta watch this. I don't know how I'm gonna watch it, but I'm gonna watch it. But I mean, tell us what is it like? What can you liken this to? What is there anything out there like this? I don't know.
There isn't. I mean, this is basically Top Boy and adulthood mixed up. It's got Adam Deacon, who was part of the Kidulthood, as well as what's his name? Noel Clarke, I think, was also he directed those films. Adam Deacon directs this one, also writes and also stars in it. He's getting paid 3 times. Based in London, massive comedy about some guys that going out doing crime and stuff, and they have to try and get money and all that kind of stuff. And it's just lots of characters involved in this. Lots of people that, if you're from the UK, you would recognize some of these actors, and people that are not actors. You got politician in this as well, and musician Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's in this, and just it seems like everyone is in this in some kind of comedic way. So it looks interesting. This is gonna be coming out. When's it coming out? It's coming out soon.
It's coming out soon, right?
Yeah, next few months. So
yeah, it's going to come out for you way before it comes over here. So I don't know how I'm going to watch it, but definitely want to watch that one. It's called Some Other Hood, which is great. Now this next movie, keeping it in with the kind of horror kind of, vibe over here. No One Will Save You. And again, Devout, this is something that came like out of nowhere. I just kind of had a look at it on YouTube, but this looks good, man. And you get kind of like home invasion movies, but it's not a typical home invasion, and they basically say that in the trailer. So what is it? I don't know, is it an alien invasion? Is it kind of like a people home invasion? We don't know. The trailer gives you clues and hints, and there's one person, there's a kind of like an end of the world scenario as well. She's on her own. Is she on her own, Deval? I don't know. I don't get it. The world's ended.
This looks like this reminds me of kind of like a 10 Cloverfield Lane, but an alien abduction version. This looks intimate. I don't think there's many characters in this. This has got the same girl that was in Dope Sick, which I only saw recently.
Yeah, and there's no talking.
Oh man, this looks
there's no talking in this.
This looks frightening, because alien abductions, anyone that enters your home, whether they're from round a corner, whether they're from space, it's going to be shit scary. And this looks good. This looks low budget but high quality, if I can say
like
that.
Quiet Place.
Oh, you said it. Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah,
because she's not. There's no talking in this trailer.
Yeah.
It's just literally just her running, trying to save her ass, like type of thing.
Exactly, it's good, man. And this is coming out on, I believe it's Disney Plus, because it says Hulu. So it's coming out in September 22nd on Hulu. So I think that's Disney Plus.
It's got to be. It's got to be.
Yeah, this is looking.
Hopefully that comes out really soon, and we can kind of watch that one.
Caitlin Dever is her name. That's the main star in this. The director Brian Duffield was also involved with Underwater, The Babysitter, Insurgent. So those sorts of films, especially the Underwater, claustrophobic, dealing with stuff.
As well, is it kind of alien-y, isn't it, or something?
I think so.
Sci-fi, end of the world type of thing.
Yeah, sci-fi kind of stuff. Yeah, but it's looking good, man.
It's looking good. So we'll definitely put that on the watch list, and we'll obviously watch that for you and let you know how that goes. Now, this one, The Bike Riders. So I didn't know what to expect with this one, so just obviously popped it on and had a look. Tom Hardy, but what's his name again? He played Elvis.
Oh my gosh!
Something Butler, I think.
Oh, Austin
Butler.
Yeah,
so the actor who played Elvis Presley in the Elvis biopic just kind of last year, he stars in this. And Jodie Comer, who's British, but I mean her accent.
She's a chameleon Comer.
Her accent's
crazy.
Her accent game is just kind of like crazy, man. So about this, based on a true story set in Chicago in the 1960s, about this biker gang, about how they basically small time and then they grow big time. They start getting into drugs, prostitution,
like Hell's Angels kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So about this one guy, this Butfield guy. Sorry, not Butfield. Well, I don't even know what I'm saying now, but about his character, Elvis.
I'm just thinking of a butt with a field on it now. Imagine a butt. Someone bent over and they got a butt, and it's got a field on it with meadows and all kinds. The back sack and crack on that.
You're right. So Elvis is about him and his relationship with, obviously, he gets married and he's sucked into this world. And Tom Hardy is kind of like, he's like, the leader of the biking gang, and he wants him in and he doesn't want in, or some sort of tension going on. But it looks interesting.
Yeah, looks decent. Good accents as well from Jodie Comer as usual, and Tom Hardy as well. So it looks all right.
Yeah, sounding gruff there. All right, listen, look, those are your movies. Those are your trailers. Let's move on to Anniversary Corner. Now, listen, Deval, which one are you going to go for? Because I'll tell you the reason why. Because I watched The Conjuring just last night.
Did you? Oh, you're brave, man. You're
Mate, I
brave.
had to.
I'm
I watched The
scared of that.
Nun.
I'm scared.
Mate, can I just? We're gonna speak. Listen, whether or not we speak about it now, I need to link in The Conjuring to The
Okay,
Nun. All right.
talk
So
about it.
yeah,
Conjuring,
no, you
Conjuring.
go, you go, you go.
Okay, let's do the Conjuring. I might even
All right.
touch on the other one as well. But the Conjuring, 10 years ago, 2013. Come on, man. We all know what it's about. It launched, well, it helped launched
Mm,
sort of the Conjuring universe, Annabelle, the Nun, all that kind of stuff.
yep.
James Wan and is it Lee Winnell and all. Blumhouse.
Yep.
I think it's Blumhouse. I think it is all involved. It's a decent film based on a true story.
Yeah.
The what they called
The
again?
Warrens.
The Warrens. Oh man, it's a good film. The
Yeah.
scares in that. The scares
Mate,
in that.
mate,
I haven't
honestly,
watched it again because I'm scared. That's the truth. I've not
mate,
watched it again because I'm scared.
listen, mate, when I watched it again, I was like,
Mm-mm,
holy shit,
mm-mm,
man.
mm-mm,
This
mm-mm,
stuff in here
mm-mm,
is
mm-mm,
really nasty.
mm-mm.
So listen, if you haven't seen The Conjuring, that should definitely be on your watch
Yeah.
list. And, obviously if you're not a fan of horror, then obviously you're not going to go watch it, but it's still got something deep inside of it and unsettling as well. So if you can, go out and watch it. Now, what's this other one that you put on there? Just quickly touch on this
Yeah,
one.
just a real quick one. I think I might have mentioned it in a hidden gem years ago, but
Mm,
Martyrs. It's the French Canadian film,
I think so.
2008, and this is this film is
Man.
so deep. Martyrs is like it's basically about uh, people that want to find out the meaning of life after
Oh,
death, life after death. They want to know what happens life after death. And
that's deep.
they go about it in the most extreme way to find out what happens after you die.
Oh
And
shit.
then martyrs is what they call the people that they use to
That.
find out the answer. But this
Mm,
film starts off in a way that you just don't expect it's ever going to end in this way. This
oh
film is one
man.
of the most craziest, scariest, bloodiest, dare I say, beautiful,
Yeah.
uh, intimate,
Wow.
shocking. It's been banned in many countries.
Yes.
Martyrs is a film that is not for the faint-hearted. If you don't like
Oh
gore, if you
man.
don't like things that are shocking, don't watch this film.
Oh,
But
it's so funny. I just typed it
15
in,
years,
right? I
yeah,
just typed it in, and it says there's a thing that comes up on Google search, why to watch, and this is three words: cruel, graphic, and gruesome.
yeah.
Oh
Mm.
my gosh. Oh my
This
gosh.
film is cruel. There's one beautiful moment in it, but apart from that, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
15 years. Don't watch the American version that came out recently. Watch this one, 2008.
Yeah.
It's in French. Yeah, I think
Yes,
it's
it's in
French,
French. Yeah,
French Canadian or something, but it's in French. It's not English. Again, we're going international. Get out your
international.
passports. Don't just get stuck in America and England on
Yeah.
Netflix. Go and venture out. Watch different
This
stuff.
is this is actually on Amazon. Well, for me anyway, it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, is it? Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
the
There you go.
2008 version.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one to watch.
All right. Okay. So listen, look, folks, go check those movies out if you haven't seen them. Now, listen, look, we move nicely into kind of our film reviews. So, Deval, do you want to do Cob? Yeah, you're
Yeah,
going to do Cobweb
I'll do a
first,
quick
right?
one
So
on
do that
Cobweb.
first, and then
Yeah.
we can focus on the Nun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do a quick look at Cobweb. The Cobweb I watched a week ago. This
Mm,
this is a horror film that stars Anthony Starr, pun intended, the guy that
mm,
we know as Homelander in
yep.
The Boys. Lizzie Kaplan, Cleopatra Coleman is also in this film. It's directed by Samuel Bodin or Bodin, if he's French. I'm not sure.
Mm,
What's he done before? He's done Tank. He's done Lazy Company TV series. He's done a short for Batman. Relatively unknown director, but
mm,
sometimes they're the best because they're
yep.
fresh, they're new, and they want to impress. And so he's done those films. But this Cobweb is a film about two parents, Anthony Starr, Lizzie Kaplan. They've got a son, and they're really protective over their son, a bit too
Mm,
much. He
okay.
stays in his room quite a lot. He does go to school. He's a bit, uh, he's not he doesn't integrate well with other kids. He gets bullied at school. But when he's in his room at home, he hears things in the wall.
Oh,
He's
God.
been hearing a voice in the wall. It keeps him up. There's some scary, and even the house is a bit. The house isn't bright. I don't know what's happening. Maybe they're trying to save on their electricity bill. We all know times are hard, but
Financial crisis, mate. Yeah.
things are not bright in the house. Very dark and eerie, and the parents are a bit weird. They are a little bit weird. They're not the most.
Welcoming parents.
Yeah, they're a bit weird. The mum is like really highly strung. You can see there's a history there, and we
Right.
don't know what this history is until later. But then it makes sense as to why they act the way they act.
I gotcha.
So I'm not going to give you too much about it,
The
but
boy's not real.
oh, no, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
But he hears things in the walls, in his room. Bit by bit, he finds out that there's something
Oh,
in
God.
the house with them. There's something in the
Oh,
house with them, and he's scared, but also this thing kind of tricks him to being
yeah.
his friend, his
Oh,
imaginary friend, which
yep.
no one
Yep.
else believes exists. His friend at school doesn't believe it,
Oh,
and
God.
it tells him to do certain things.
Oh,
And but there's also a teacher, a substitute teacher at the school, who's
yeah.
very nosy, but she cares. She comes to the house. She wants to check on him because he's been drawing weird drawings at
Yeah.
home. And she's like, "Oh, does he need help? What's wrong?" And the parents are like, "Nothing. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. You shouldn't be coming to our house." It's all that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that teacher is very nosy. She keeps coming back and back, and she pays for it in some
Oh,
kind of way.
no.
But yeah, it's like bit by bit we find out a bit more about
Oh,
what
what?
is in the
So
house.
it's the house that is demonic.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to spoil it
Okay.
for people that are going to watch it, but
Yeah.
it's not as simple as you think. There's a bit more to it.
Ah.
And even when you find out what it is in the house that is the horror, you're
Mhm.
like, what? How? Like, how is this possible? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But the thing that I did mention, the boy got bullied at school. He gets
Right.
bullied
Yep.
at school, and he lashes out against the bullies because this thing tells him fight back, which he does.
Right.
Because of
And
that,
there's going to be some consequences for that.
yes, the consequences are one day in Halloween, happens to be Halloween,
Halloween.
these
Yeah.
boys come to the house, and what
Oh,
happens
yep.
at the house
Yeah.
is
Is a
a
house of horrors.
mess. Because
Oh.
this thing,
There you go. Devout for the people who obviously,
when you
he's
think of a hot knife through butter, think of a cheese going through a cheese grater, think
oh,
of like, mashing mashed potato.
and
This
these are
thing just,
kids.
you know what? That's one thing I respect about this film. Anytime, I know it
They
sounds
didn't
bad,
hold back.
yeah. After last week we watched Sound of Freedom, this is different. But anytime I see horror films not like giving kids
Yeah, a
a
free
free
pass.
pass, I respect it because if the monster is that bad,
They will deal with kids.
deal with everyone. Everyone gets it. In this film, everyone gets it. That's all I'm going to leave it there.
Okay,
I'm going to
brilliant.
leave it there. Short and sweet. Cobweb is an intimate, low budget, very low budget,
Mm,
but high quality horror film.
yeah,
Hour and a half. It's really quick. Gets to the point, and it's decent. It's okay. It's not great. It's
yeah.
not shit. It's somewhere in between, but it's decent. They do a good job on
They're
the
not
budget
showing it
they've
here.
got.
They're not
They're not-
showing it here.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I'm not
It's
surprised.
just so weird. But here's the surprising thing. I just had a quick look. Seth Rogen is behind this
Yes, he was part of the production team. I'm not surprised that Anthony Starr is the star of this because
because
Seth
of
Rogen has also been involved
behind
in The Boys.
in the
Mm,
boys as well. He's
yeah,
behind that. So that's
yeah,
really interesting. All right, so
yeah,
go check that one out. That's called Cobweb.
yeah.
And that fits in nicely because Deval, we've been speaking about the Conjuring universe ever since, basically. So,
Mm,
Conjuring, we've already mentioned before, came out in 2013, so it's already been 10 years for that. And the lot. Can you just remind our listeners again? When was the last time we saw a Nun movie? When was that? When did that first one come out?
Oh, the first Nun, that was, Oh my gosh, that was like 5 years.
God, so
No,
it's been a
5 years
while
ago.
then.
Yeah, 2018. 5 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. So
2018.
it's
Yeah.
been a while. And
Yeah.
so with
Wow.
each of those movies, they kind of expanded those stories really, really kind of well. Like, we got to see kind of bits and pieces, this creepy nun, this, very kind of weird looking face that was appearing in the other movies. And then we kind of find out, who this is and where it's come from. And, we got to have the nun, which was, in my opinion, Deval, it was probably the weakest one, right? Up to
Yeah.
that point, it was like, I got to say, like,
Mm,
we'd already seen the Conjuring 2 and everything, and Annabelle. So those, they kind of really kind of creepy, really well made movies. And then this came
mm,
along, and it tells the backstory of this demon, where it started kind of terrifying people and why it started terrifying people. And then we started it being set in Romania, so there was all that going on. And this one, the Nun 2, which has just been released, it kind of
mm.
follows on with that. So the nun from the demon from the first one hasn't been dealt with,
Nope.
and it comes back via a character from the first movie. So if you haven't seen the first movie, then you have to basically go and watch that to kind of find the connection, with this movie. So I'm trying to kind of skirt around this whole thing. So there's a character from there, which
Mm.
leads into this one. But most importantly, it brings back Sister uh, Irene. Is it Sister Irene? Her name is Irene.
Irene. Yeah,
Yeah.
Irene, but let's say
So
Irene.
yeah, so Sister Irene, so she's back now. We fast forward a few more years, and it's set in France, and she works at a monastery, and she's quiet, she's kind of stoic, and she gets on well with her life, devoting her life to obviously God and everything. And then we have Storm Reed, and I was just like, what they want to, like, they're bringing in a new character. They didn't explain why Storm Reed was in this and why she's come from America and why she had to leave America
Mm,
to come to France. That wasn't kind of explained, but they do
mm,
touch upon the kind of racism in the South, and something happened with Storm Reed's character, and she kind of sought kind of safety, in the church and everything. So that was kind of interesting. But basically, the demon's back, people start dying, and then before long, Sister Irene, she's called to investigate, and then that's where we start to kind of get all the stuff that's going on. So Deval, for me, first up, there's one scene in there. Now, you mentioned kids. There was one scene in the movie where I thought this was really well done. There's a bit in the movie, right, where a kid, I have to just mention this, right? So there's going to be spoilers here. A French kid, girl, 13, 14 years old, she goes to deliver some food. She's like, oh, bonjour, bonjour. She starts knocking on the door. No one answers the door. She's just about to walk away, and then the door kind of slides open. So she goes in, blah, blah, blah. And then she can hear something. And that noise, Deval, oh my God, it's this, this sort of the noise going on. And she gets dealt with, this poor little girl who's delivering
mm,
food. And I thought, rah, I said, this is great. This is
mm,
what you just mentioned from Cobweb. They deal with kids, and in this one, the demon deals with this kid in horrific way, whatever. So I thought, okay, this time they mean business. And then I was waiting for them to kind of work on that and build on that kind of thing. And then I got to say, it just didn't happen for me. There were
mm.
some bits which were creepy. There were some kind of, you know, atmospheric, let's say, but then at one point it moves into kind of a creature feature.
Okay. Yeah.
You know the bit what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
They start moving into this thing where they're hiding from this thing, and then it starts becoming kind of like, oh, this is, it could be, you know they, it could be like, obviously fantastical as well, a kind of fantasy movie as well and stuff like that. So
Mm,
they kind of moved in that realm, and then it kind of lost me a bit. And I don't know, it just didn't maybe have the scariness. And then what happened was, a few days later, Deval, I had to go back and watch The Conjuring, because I wanted to figure out exactly how this all started off. And I got to say one
mm,
thing, man, The Conjuring, oh my gosh, man, is a far superior movie
mm.
because of the way that they kind of build attention. They drop in these small little things, the hand clapping, the demon that's sitting at the top of the room on
Wardrobe,
top of the
yeah.
wardrobe, nasty stuff going on, like, and the nun doesn't have that.
It is nasty.
It is nasty, man. Like, the being possessed and like possession and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it just kind of didn't have that. So for me, yeah, it expands the Conjuring universe, expands the Nun universe. We find out what happens to the characters from the first movie, Nun,
Yeah.
and then we kind of see obviously what goes on, but we still don't know how it leads on to the Conjuring, because that's still got to come
Yeah.
yet.
You're right, and do you know what? I agree. It was better than the first one.
Yeah,
The first one
yeah,
I think was really poor, yeah, and it just was lacking. This one, I think they tried to let us know from the get go that they're gonna, like, anyone can go.
yeah.
This nun is powerful. This nun got the priest to go up in the air like that, and it set the man on fire. And I was like, hold on a second, hold on a second, hold on a second, hold on. If this thing can do that, then everyone is messed
Everyone
up.
should be everyone
Yeah.
should be dead, basically.
And I think it dealt with I think another little boy got dealt with, and I was like,
Yeah,
hold on a second, this film is really not messing around. It heard us when we said we're not having none of it. They
yeah.
heard us with the first review. So I'm hoping that, but yeah, I think it was better.
It was better.
I agree with you. The Storm Reed's character, um, yeah, I don't know if it was like a shoehorn kind of situation, just
Yeah,
get a sister in there kind of thing.
yeah.
But her history doesn't really, I don't know what she was kind of there for. I'm not saying her performance wasn't good or anything like that, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe she'll have something to
Have
do with
some
it
sort of spin-off, maybe
another time.
possibly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. But it was good to see the link between Maurice, the
Mm.
French guy from the
Frenchie.
first
Yeah.
film, Frenchie, to this film, and I'm liking Tessa or Tiesa
Tessa Farmiga, right?
Farmiga, yeah, the sister of Vera Farmiga. They know their horror. They've got a good horror kind
Mm.
of reaction face, good
Yeah.
aesthetics for the horror sort of world, and she's doing good as a nun as well. Um, but yeah, there's no, yeah, there was a bit too much running around and going
There
from this
was,
room to
man.
that room, and I'm just gonna spoil it anyway. But
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
okay, the one bit that was really scary for me, and because my history with the Goat Man film.
Oh,
Yeah,
mate. Yes. No, I know what you
people that
mean.
don't know, years ago I did a little short film called "Who Was the
Deval
Goat
made a
Man,"
film.
and it's still on YouTube. Type in "Who is the Goat Man." It's created in like a found footage way, so there's even no titles. It's there to sort of make people think, is this real?
Yeah.
Because where I used to live, there was, a myth that the Goat Man was in the forest. So
Mm.
in this film, we actually go to the forest and explore it. And through my research, I found out that this is something that happens in different cultures, whether it's
Yeah.
Greek, Arabic. There's a
Mm.
half man, half goat
Half beast.
creature.
Yeah.
And in this film, The Nun 2, you see a
See.
goat man kind of situation that's
Yeah.
running around chasing the kids. And this goat man he looks
Bro,
good.
do you
He
know
had
what? There's
proper
a bit in there,
in
right,
the
where she's
dark.
doing the flashlight, and then she sees,
Yes,
noticing, and then all of
yes.
a sudden, like, I'm like,
I'll be
holy
shitting
shit, man!
myself. I'll be
Ah.
shitting my. This thing
So, but
looked.
what's the thing? What's the goat thing got to do? So, so, so the
I think it was
demon is controlling
window.
the goat. No, no, okay,
Yeah, I think I want to know what's the upper limit and lower limit of this thing's powers, because it can
yeah,
be in one place and still do stuff in another place. It can make you see things, hear things. It's mad
mm,
powerful. I think the
mad
goat man was from the window pane, because
from
the
the window
goat
pane.
disappeared from there and became a reality. It's mad. I want to know what powers these things have, because this nun
This,
is
yeah.
powerful. But yeah,
So here's the
there was some
thing,
scary
though.
moments. Yeah.
Exactly. And listen, and then you can already kind of know this, Deval, because there's going to be there has to be a part three, because we need to know the link. Because how do the Warrens,
Mm.
because we need to know how do they, because Maurice, the Frenchie, obviously comes back, because Maurice is the one that's in the Conjuring at the beginning. Because I rewatched the Conjuring, and
Are you serious?
yes,
No, no. Hold on,
mate,
hold on. In
yeah,
Conjuring 1,
Conjuring
Maurice.
one. he's basically the footage. You know, the Warrens, they do kind of like a talk at a
Oh
university.
shit! Are you?
That's him.
Oh, so they must have investigated what's happening, what happened with his story. That must be the link then. Just
But
the
then,
fact they investigated it.
yeah, because
Or
he's in that footage. He's older.
yeah,
Maurice is older. It's not the same actor. It's someone else.
shit.
So they've got to now jump from the 1960s or 50s, whatever this was set, to the
Yeah,
70s or whatever. And then they've got to deal with Maurice because it's an exorcism that the Ed Warren, he talks about it. He says what she saw something that was so bad that she went into a room and she never came out for 8 days. But it was an
who? Who? His wife?
his wife, Lorraine Warren.
Is
Is it Lorraine?
it?
Yeah. So something happens in
Oh
that
my.
exorcism,
Okay,
and I guess they're probably going to lead up to that.
that's good. You know, that's good information. That's good
Yeah.
information. That mean okay. So now I need to watch. I'm scared to watch it again. The Conjuring.
Oh,
I'm
mate,
scared.
that
I
movie's
might
great.
need to watch it again somehow.
Yeah. So there's a
It's
bit
all
where they're
linked.
giving a talk at university and they start talking about this exorcism. And,
Yeah.
his name was Maurice. He was a French. He was from Romania. And so I was like, holy shit, they've connected it. So now we got to get a part 3 because I want to know how do they connect
Mm.
from the Nun 2 to the Conjuring.
Oh, we'll find out because a little bit of a spoiler. There was a bit of a end credit scene
Yes.
where,
They get the phone call.
uh, yeah, we see the Warrens get a phone call, and I guess it's not present day, but it's the a different time period,
Mm.
and I wonder what that phone call is and who it is. Is it
Oh, so
linked
then
to
that might be that could
that?
be
Might
them,
be.
the exorcism. That could be it then.
Possibly, yeah. Maybe 20 years has passed, and now they have to exercise this Frenchy guy. Do you know what? This universe is just expanding, and this
That's
director,
mad.
what's his name? Something Chavez, Michael Chavez.
Yes.
He directed
La Llorona, no? Or something.
La Llorona. He directed Conjuring 3, and he also
Mm.
directed another. Well, this as well. Yeah, he had directed The
So
Nun 2.
remind me again, what was the Conjuring 3 again? What was that one?
That was the story in America where the guy said he was possessed and he killed people, and in the courtroom he said the devil made him do it. Like it's the
Oh,
first case where it was like a documented reason in the trial, and that's
oh,
what they said. That's what, like, the defense team said this is a reason, and and he actually he got put in. Yeah, he done time in prison. I don't think it was as long as it could have been,
hmm.
because they had, I think they always saw diminished responsibility of some sort.
Yeah,
But yeah, it made history in America. This was
yeah.
back in
And here's the
the
thing. This is how
80s.
this kind of universe works because in the Conjuring Part 2,
Mm,
the Warrens obviously they go to England and everything,
yeah,
and
Enfield,
yeah, 'cause that's kind of like you've been there, haven't you,
mates.
mate?
All I'm gonna say is, yeah, it's actually after a date,
Yeah,
and I had to give the person a lift home. They lived in
in that
Enfield,
area.
and they lived on Green Street, and I'd
Wait,
watched
but devout. Let's just rewind a bit. This is the actual
the
street that they
actual.
show in The Conjuring Part 2. So this is for the people who are listening worldwide. Deval has, he's been there. It's like, oh, go on, you do it. Go on,
I
you tell
went
it.
there and I was like, I was putting it in the sat nav, and I was like, "Where do you live?" And I put it in. They said, "Oh, okay." I knew it was Enfield, and they said Green Street, and I was like, "Green Street." I said, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, what number?" I said, "Tell me the number." I was like, "How long have you lived here?" "Oh, I lived there a few years." Do, do you know what happened in Green Street years ago? She was like,
I love this.
"Yeah, but I don't believe in that stuff." And I was like, "Shit."
Holy shit,
I
man.
gave her a lift home before
Top of the road, mate.
car didn't even stop. I pushed her, pushed her out, get out of the car. I'm going home. It was a rolling drop.
It's like, as the car's moving, the door opens. I'll see you later. Oh my gosh.
I want no
Oh,
part of it. No
this is
part.
mad. This is crazy.
Ah.
So in that movie, the one where it's set in
Oh man.
England,
Mm.
the Warrens, they find out the name of that demon, the nun.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
that demon. So then
Yes.
now we have to figure out why is it that, like, because we thought it died, like it dies in Nun
Mate,
2,
these things
but
don't
obviously
die.
it
They
comes back.
multiply. Yeah, they definitely kill a spirit. I don't know. It's mad. I don't
It's
know.
mad. I don't know what they're going to do, but I mean, these movies, they've taken over 1 billion
Mate.
worldwide. So
Yeah.
listen, go check it out. It's like what Deval said, it's better than the second one. Sorry, better than the first one. And it kind of expands that whole kind of universe. So if you love your horrors, go do that. Now, listen, Deval's going to speak about another movie. So this is a hidden gem. It's a recent hidden gem, but a gem nonetheless. And we've already spoken about kind of this international watching movies not in the English language. So Deval, take it away. Let us know about your hidden gem, please.
Yep. So this one is Brazilian.
Mm,
And this one is called, where's the name of it? It's called Bacurau.
mm,
Bacurau. So, oh my gosh, I came across this randomly, just, when I'm watching films and, whatever. And 2019, it is a horror. It is a sort of social commentary. It is everything. It's got every
mm.
bit of genre in this 2-hour film. It's in Portuguese language.
Yeah.
Some of the actors in this film are not actually actors; they're people that live in this area.
Mm,
So it's going to be a quick hidden gem. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because the less you know about it, the better.
yeah.
This is set in a fictional place called Bacurau, and it's about a community that are living their life, doing their thing. They're not rich, it's kind of like
Mm,
just sort of a rural community or town.
yeah.
People are living, doing their thing, and all of a sudden, some weird things start to happen.
Mm,
So, what's the first thing that happens? That's quite weird. Uh, they're getting followed by some people. There's some strange people in the town that are sort of there. They don't know who they are and stuff like that.
yeah.
And then one of the drivers that goes to collect water for the town,
Mm-hmm.
he has bullet holes in his van and he's in the truck. They're not sure, like, what's going on? What's going on with these bullet holes? What happened? And then some people go and investigate and see these two bike riders.
Mm,
They're white. So the community in this Bacurau, they're very diverse. No, Brazilian communities are quite diverse. You got the
yeah.
black ones, you got the sort of
European
indigenous,
looking ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
European ones, sort of Amazonia kind of looking.
Mm,
I don't know. Actually, I'm just describing. I could be. I hope I'm not politically correct, but with what I'm saying, but just a
yeah.
diverse, broad spectrum. That's what the community look like. But these bike riders are white. They look out of place, kind of thing. They're wearing these
Yeah.
funny tracksuits, and they're not speaking much. And they get people approach them and say, "What are you doing? Uh, do you have anything to do with this?" And before you know it, they shoot them dead.
Oh my gosh.
They shoot them dead, and it's just a weird thing. And that's where shit starts to get real. But then we find out. Also, just to rewind a little bit, a really weird scene happens in this film where people in the town are just living their life and whatever, and then the local sort of councilman or
Yeah.
MP, he's driving up to the town, and
Mm.
someone says, "Oh, MP Junior is coming," and everyone hides because nobody wants anything to do with
Oh,
him. Nobody wants to
okay.
vote for him. This guy hasn't got their best interests at heart. You
Yeah.
can kind of feel it.
Yeah.
No one wants to speak to him. So he's there on the megaphone saying, "Oh, I've got food for you. I've got money for you. I've got books for you." Isn't this what we hear from, from
From,
politics? I've
yeah.
got this for you. I've got that for you. Vote for me.
Yeah.
Really, they don't have their best interest at heart.
Exactly.
You kind of get the impression that this is like a social commentary kind of thing on what
Yeah.
society is like. People that are down there are sort of seen as commodities because their
Yeah.
votes get people like that in
Were
power,
elected.
but
Yeah.
really they
Exactly.
don't care for them.
Nah, not
So
at all.
bit by bit now we're seeing that these outsiders that shot the people, they go to their little camp, and you find out there's more of them,
Oh
and
gosh.
they're basically conspiring on who they're going to kill that day, what's going to happen. And you're thinking, hold on a second, they're talking about like a sport. It's almost like the
Oh
Hunger Games or
shit.
something where it's a sport for them. They've now come to this town and they're about to play a sport that's going to involve people dying, basically.
Yeah.
You're like, what's going on here? What kind of film is this? And the people now got a band together. The people
Right.
they had some trouble with other villages, and now they're going to get together
Yeah.
because they got to fight against this craziness that's happening.
Yeah.
You know, and there's also a flying saucer that's flying around.
What?
Record. It's weird. Recording people.
Man.
That's been sent by the people that are there to try and play
The
sport
government,
on the
basically.
government. Yeah, basically, it's like an Overwatch. Exactly, it's like that. This film is weird. Some of the
Yeah.
actors in this film, you can tell are not actors.
Yeah.
Some of them are. There's certain scenes where there's a couple of scenes I saw people looking at the camera. Let's be honest, they were looking at the camera. It's mad. There's certain scenes where people are just having sex. There's like the
Oh
town. There's a town prostitute. Everyone knows
yeah.
who she is, and
Yeah.
even when the MP comes, he takes her.
Is
He takes her. He
it?
says, "Oh, yeah, I'll bring her back in 2 days," and no one can do
Wow.
anything.
No,
This film is weird.
mad.
You can see the social commentary in
Yeah.
society. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
bit inflated, but you can see
Mm.
what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
You know?
That basically, the land is basically being raped. The people are
Yes.
being raped.
Yes.
They're
Oh my.
literally in Brazil,
Thank you.
maybe
Thank you.
around the world, man. The Amazon rainforest is being like,
Thank you.
But here's the thing, Devout. You're mentioning this, and you're saying all this sort of stuff. I was just having a quick look, and it's got 7. It's rated
Yep. Yep.
7.3 on IMDb.
Yep.
Now, there's a guy, really famous kind of
Udo
critic.
Kier. Is he
Uh,
German? Udo Kier? He's in it.
yeah, Udo Kier, he's in it. But
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
film critic called Roger Ebert, and their
Mm.
kind of Roger Ebert website. It's like 4 stars. This
Right.
movie, everyone is saying this movie's brilliant.
It's a weird film. It's a good film. You'll never hear about it unless you come to the Flixters. We tell you
There
about
you
this sort
go.
of thing. I came across it randomly. I never would have looked for something like this.
No.
It came across my path. It was meant to be found. But the shit that happens in this, you think, wow, it's mad. And then you find
Yes.
out the people that are there playing sport and killing people, who sent them?
Ah,
Who
who said
sent them?
exactly?
Go on.
Yeah,
You know
the
the answer.
government.
Tell me. So it's
Mm-mm.
mad. It's mad. Mad. But I'm going to leave it there. This is the hidden gem in its very nature. It's even hidden more because it's not in English. So
Exactly. So it
it's
won't be on the list of people.
no,
So listen,
no.
again, another hidden gem that the Flixters have brought to you. Keep it locked with us because obviously we've got more. We pull those babies out of the bag. So listen, look, we really, really hoped you enjoyed the show. Go check those movies out. And if you do watch them, let us know. Be like Sandra and get in touch with us on
Yep.
Instagram. Let us know, break it down for us, give us your take, give us your perspective, and you could be on the show. So Deval, what we've got coming up, we've got another horror movie coming up next week, I think.
We've got the
That lives
Poirot
inside.
film.
Oh
That's
yeah,
the
so
week
Death on the
after.
Nile. No, not
The
Death on the Nile.
no,
A
the
Haunting in
haunted. Yeah,
Venice.
Haunted in Venice.
Yep.
And then the week after that, we've got It Lives Inside Us, and also No One Will Save You. We've also
Yes.
got Gen Z or Gen V,
Gen
whatever it's
V is
called,
coming out next couple
coming
of weeks'
out
time.
late
Oh, can't
September.
wait.
There's bits and bobs coming out here and there, so you've got to keep an eye out. But if you don't, we'll let you
Pet
know as
Cemetery
well.
next month, but we'll
Cemetery.
obviously bring you all that. All right, okay, listen up, folks. We hope you